Welcome back to 6 in the morning. It's now 9:15. You know, when it comes to obesity, Oklahoma is one of the fattest states in the country. Nearly 37% of adults in the state have obesity, and it affects nearly 18% of Oklahoma's high school students. So what can be done about this? Dr. Stacy Chronister is an internal medicine and obesity specialist with OSU Medicine, and she joins me now to talk about this problem that really permeates our state.
It is so prevalent right now, and when you say those stats, it's hard to really understand how big that is. So when we're talking about 18% of our high school students having obesity, we are not talking about those who are just even overweight. That's a whole nother, like 30% of our students. So really the epidemic right now of that it's impacting our health, our financial standpoint, and just honestly the way we feel as a community, it's a pretty big issue right now.
Let's talk about some of the reasons, what causes it. And I think they're pretty obvious, but I know it's really important to talk about that.
So sometimes it's not so obvious. I think when we talk about obesity, we're often talking about behavior changes. And well, if you would just work out more, and if you would just eat less, calories in, calories out. I mean, how many of us have heard that, right?
Right.
But if that really worked the way that we say it should, then why are we not all thinner? You know, it's not just about behavior. If behavior changed things, then we would all be thinner.
Right.
Of course, our environment plays a role because we have cheap foods that are available.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not everyone has access to good homegrown fresh vegetables. So there's definitely that behavior, there's the environment. But the bigger part that I think a lot of people don't know is actually genetics. And when we talk about genetics of obesity, did you know that there's over 100 genes that they've identified that correlate with obesity?
Wow.
So when someone, and we know that people with a similar appearance and similar dietary things that they enjoy, they like to intermarry, right? So if you carry a gene for obesity and I carry a gene for obesity and we have children, they don't just get one or two.
They get both.
They can get all of them,
Wow.
right? And so that's why some children can be thinner and some can carry a lot more weight.
Now, sometimes you talk, when you go in, you get weighed and all of this, the doctor talks about your BMI.
Yes.
Body mass index.
Yes, that is just an easy way for us to measure what kind of fat burden you might have. Now, it's not perfect. There are a few things that are perfect, but they're expensive and they're hard to do. In the clinic, it takes your weight and it takes your height.
Okay.
So when we talk about BMI, we want to look at someone at where they are in that range. So someone who is in the 18 to 25 range, that's very healthy. Someone who's in the 25 to 29 range, that is overweight.
Right.
Anyone who's over 30, we are looking at obesity, and that's the category that we're talking about.
Good. All right. So let's talk about what can I do starting today?
Yes, there are things you can do today. One, you can definitely talk to your doctor. If you are the person who's saying, I am working out 6 days a week, I am drinking water all day and eating broccoli, I believe you. It is a problem. Talk to your doctor. We have ways to help you. But for those of us who just need to start moving more, let's start there. Let's start drinking more water. Let's get the sugar and the fake sugars out of our drinks. I always say let food be food, let water be water. And a good way to keep weight off and lose it is self-monitoring. So whether it be weights, but I really recommend a food tracker. So that can be, if you like journals, writing it down every time, or there's a lot of really great free apps that you can use to track what you're doing. And even just that behavior, even if you're not looking at the calories exactly there, just the act of doing it will actually help you get that weight off and keep it off.
I found it fascinating now because you can get on these apps where you can scan the QR code, and then it plugs all that information in for you. And I also think part of it for me is that making choices. It's like, if you really want that, what are you going to give up to so that you're not, taking that plus your, your carb, all this extra stuff.
I always say that fun size Snickers bar doesn't seem so free if you have to log it.
Right.
So you're more likely to not have those free calories, because they're definitely not free calories. If you know you have to log it, you'll avoid it.
Excellent. So again, all of these things we could put into place right away.
Absolutely.
Like right when the show's over. So that's what I should do.
Good luck.
Yeah, I'm going to need it for sure. Thank you, Dr. Chronister.
Yes.
Appreciate you coming in today.
Anytime.
Very helpful.